Welcome to Talks with Dr. Gupta and friends. Today, we are thinking carefully about the world in 2026. 2026 is not a year of breakthroughs. It is a year of consequences. The consequences of wars left unresolved, of debt built up during years of cheap money, of technology that moved faster than institutions, and of climate promises the world quietly knew it could not fully keep. What defines 2026 is not speed. It is strain. Let's begin with the global economy. On the surface, growth continues, but underneath, momentum is fading. Global expansion slows to one of the weakest non-crisis rates in decades. Inflation, which dominated recent years, is easing. Central banks are beginning to cut interest rates. But here is the structural shift. Interest rates are not going back to zero. The era of cheap money is over. Governments now face an uncomfortable reality. They are carrying historically high debts just as borrowing becomes expensive again. This forces choices: defense spending, social welfare, climate investment, debt servicing. In 2026, no major economy can fully fund all four. And when governments hesitate, the first response no longer comes from voters. It comes from the bond markets. At the same time, globalization is changing shape. It is not collapsing, but it is fragmenting. Trade is increasingly organized not around efficiency, but around trust. Supply chains are re-engineered. Friendshoring replaces global integration. Tariffs become semi-permanent features, not temporary tools. The result is subtle but powerful: higher costs, lower productivity, and a global economy that absorbs shocks less smoothly. The idea of a single frictionless global market is quietly fading. Nowhere are these tensions clearer than in the United States. The year 2026 marks 250 years since America's founding. Yet instead of unity, the anniversary exposes division. Midterm elections become a referendum not just on policy, but on the nature of power itself. Executive authority expands. Legislative gridlock deepens. Politics becomes more personalized and more polarized. America remains the world's most powerful country, but it is also one of the most internally conflicted. Power is abundant, consensus is scarce. Globally, the picture is equally unsettled. There is no new world order arriving in 2026. What we see instead is drift. The war in Ukraine grinds on without resolution. The Middle East remains fragile. Taiwan stays the most dangerous flashpoint on the planet. Major powers test boundaries, but stop short of open war. Conflict increasingly lives in the gray zone. Cyber pressure, economic coercion, military signaling. The old rules weaken, but nothing replaces them. Europe enters 2026 under pressure from every direction. It must increase defense spending, protect energy security, maintain social safety nets, and honor climate commitments, all while growth remains weak and public patience thin. This creates political vulnerability. Populist movements gain ground. Fiscal compromises become unavoidable. Unity becomes harder to sustain. Europe does not collapse. But in 2026, it is stretched. Now, let's talk about technology. Artificial intelligence dominates boardrooms, investment flows, and public debate. But 2026 may be the year the question changes. Not, can AI do more? But, is it delivering what was promised? Trillions have been committed. Data centers multiply. Energy demand surges, yet productivity gains remain uneven. Many investors expect not a crash, but a deflation of expectations. Smaller firms struggle. Venture capital tightens. Large technology companies endure. At the same time, automation quietly shifts location. Not from factory floors, but into offices. White-collar work begins to feel sustained pressure, and with that comes public unease. Perhaps the most sobering realization of 2026 concerns climate. Limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees is no longer realistic. The world now knows this. The focus changes. From prevention to adaptation. From pledges to coping. Climate migration becomes real, not theoretical. Critical minerals turn strategic. And the Global South emerges as a leader in renewable deployment. Climate action continues, but it becomes more political, more contested, and more urgent. Beneath geopolitics and technology lies a quieter tension: Demographics. Populations are aging. Workforces are shrinking. Young people face unstable job prospects. This is not mass unemployment. It is persistent uncertainty. And history shows us that prolonged uncertainty reshapes politics faster than recessions. So what is 2026, really? The world in 2026 is slower, more fragmented, more automated, and more fragile. Those who adapt to new economic realities, technological limits, and planetary constraints will shape the decade ahead. Those who do not will be shaped by it. Thank you for thinking aloud with me. Happy New Thinking and Happy New Year.